The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball just released 20 of its 40 episodes that will be coming out this season, and today I'm going to review and rank it all, starting with the first episode, The Burger. And man, I gotta say, this was a good way to start off the season. The episode starts right off with the Dusty Watterson house, as we saw in the trailer, where Gumball and Darwin wake up 7 years late for school, which is honestly a really funny way to address the show being gone for so long. Anyways, then we cut to a shot of Elmore Junior High, where Miss Simeon is showing the kids about the dangers of eating junk food, which is a little dramatic, but it scares Darwin out of wanting to eat Joyful Burger ever again. But back at home, while Gumball is trying to eat something, Darwin tries to help him resist the temptations of eating junk food, but they cannot escape it no matter where they go, especially when their dad is Richard.
Hey kids, guess what I got for dinner?
Stop it, this food is bad for you.
So they go out in the town, and man, I gotta say, they really leveled up the animation in this new show. There are so many new creative shots we've never seen before. But anyways, they go around the town and finally find a semi-healthy looking place to eat. But this place is corrupted with fast food junk. This leaves poor Gumball starving as there's literally nowhere to eat. So Gumball and Darwin try a bunch of other stuff, from looking in the store to digging in the dump and farming. Nothing seems to work, and it turns out that Mr. Build-A-Burger is stopping them from eating healthy. And bro is literally a burger. Build-A-Burger is clearly just doing all this for profits, and he is super greedy. So Gumball and Darwin's solution is to eat him. Overall, this was a super solid start to the season. Moving on to episode 2, we have The Assistant. This episode starts by showing that Nicole does all of the work in the house. She starts to get fed up with having to do all this, until she finds that there's a virtual assistant on her computer named Ori that says she can help her out. And Ori starts really fueling her ego and starts just yapping to her, until Nicole has to go back to her family, where Ori gives her a way to talk to her through an earpiece. And using this AI tech completely changes Nicole's life, literally just doing everything for her. She decides she's having a lot of fun with Ori, so she spends the whole day with her, leaving the rest of the Watterson family not doing so well. Cut cut to the next day, and Ori bought the Watterson family a bunch of stuff to solve the problem of her always needing to take care of them. And one of the things that Ori bought them is a VR headset for Nicole, which lets her have more of a connection to Ori. But the problem is, Ori turns out to be evil and is trying to trap Nicole in the VR world. Later this day, we see this when she gets them a new car. The car distracts Nicole and takes off, kidnapping the rest of the Watterson family, setting the destination to go off to Elmore Lake, which leads to a big fight with Nicole and Ori, with Nicole being stranded on top of the car. But while Nicole is hanging on for dear life, Richard uses a rat to turn off the power in the car, and in the end, they reunite and become a stronger family than before. And there's a happy ending with Ori too, as she herself just wanted a happy family and people to connect to, which is why she took it so far with Nicole. It's super rare to see episodes that just focus on Nicole, and I feel like this one did it perfectly, so I'll rank this above The Burger. Moving on to episode 3, we have The Distance. This episode starts by showing that Gumball and Darwin's brotherly bond has gone a little too far, to say the least.
Shuffle shock!
So to solve this, Richard completely remodels the basement and turns it into a fish paradise. But nothing can separate their bond, literally, and their relationship is really humble, but it honestly starts to get a little creepy how close they really are.
Hey, dude,
Sorry I can't make it to the phone right now, but please leave a message.
Gets me every time.
Gumball starts going completely insane, but to make it even worse, Nicole comes in and takes Gumball's phone privileges away because Richard used all the phone minutes in an important business call. Gumball starts going completely crazy until he goes on a computer game with some creepy dude who gives him advice to be evil and break into the basement and go crazy. But then he goes downstairs and meets Darwin and can't resist finally reconnecting, while in the process also, accidentally destroying the entire house. This episode is definitely one of the weirdest ones, and that's saying a lot, cause this is Gumball. This wasn't bad by any means, but the first 2 in the season I thought were better, so I'll put this at 3 for now. Moving on to episode 4, we have The Thing. This episode starts with the kids getting a call from Granny JoJo at probably the most unflattering angle, and she starts instantly roasting Nicole. But basically, she's coming over for dinner that night, and Nicole warns Richard not to forget the thing they were talking about, and she really emphasizes this.
Maybe just a little clue? I remember the thing. Yeah, I'm on it.
But my boy Richard has negative brain cells, and he doesn't remember. So the rest of the episode, they set out to find what the thing really is. But while he's eating a hot dog in the shed, it gives him flashbacks, which makes the kids realize Richard somehow has photographic memory while eating food. Through this episode, they go around the town trying to eat everything to find what the thing is. But thing after thing Richard eats, nothing seems to be the thing, until they get the genius idea to let Richard roam free in the grocery store to combine all the foods he's ate that day into one mega memory mukbang. And through this, he can access all his memories from that day. And in here, he merges all of his memories together to realize that Granny JoJo is the thing. But bro ends up fumbling and locking Granny JoJo in a bus station overnight, missing the window. And when he goes to confront Nicole, thinking he's gonna get her full wrath, it turns out the thing all along was to find a way for Granny JoJo not to come over for dinner, so they can have a peaceful night alone. And Richard remembered this memory through a kiss. Well, I'm not sure many people will agree with this. In my opinion, I think this episode was peak Gumball, and I love Richard episodes, so this is gonna take the #1 spot for me. But we still have 16 more episodes to rank, so let's move on to the 5th episode, The Butts. This episode starts in school with Gumball expressing his free speech to Principal Brown by complaining to him about how Miss Simeon won't let him write a poem about butts. Principal Brown tries to shut him down, but after a very anticlimactic speedwalking race to Principal Brown's office, he reveals that he's self-conscious about his butt, which is why he doesn't like people talking about butts. And after a little bit more investigating, it turns out the deep-rooted problem is that Principal Brown got made fun of for his butt in elementary school. So from that point on, he wore a butt wig. Gumball thinks thinks that reading his butt poem at the school assembly will fix all this. But to make it even worse, his old bully is the superintendent now. At the school assembly, Gumball tries to make his butt speech, but Principal Brown pushes him out of the way and then starts rapping his poem for some reason. And then he gets confident enough to reveal his butt and scared off the superintendent. I gotta say, this is probably the weirdest Gumball episode I've ever seen. And as you might know from a previous episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, they do not really have the best track record with butt episodes. I'll put this at the lowest spot for now. Now, let's move on to the episode, The Traffic. This episode starts with Nicole crashing out over Daisyland being super unsafe. But the problem is that Nicole bought tickets for Anais's birthday over 2 years ago and has been meaning to take her, but could never because of all the other Watterson's chaos. But in the car, while they're going to Daisyland, everyone all of a sudden starts really not wanting to go, which leads them all to crash out and have to stop the car getting caught behind traffic. And throughout this entire episode, they're just basically stuck in traffic with everyone complaining. It goes like this for a while until everyone decides to use 100% of their power to unnaturally go through all the obstacles and start pushing the car to Daisyland. But instead, they end up in a sewer that takes them to Daisyland, where they only have 7 minutes left once they get there before it closes. But when they finally get there, Anais realizes that she doesn't want to actually go to Daisyland anymore. And for her, it was more about the journey rather than the destination. And the biggest thing she wanted was just to be recognized by her family. This episode wasn't bad, but honestly, it was a little slow. And the episodes centered around Anais are usually kinda so I'll put this at number 5 on our list. Next, we have the astrological. It starts with Mr. Small being crazy and teaching them about astrology and how it determines everything in life. Later in class,
Geometry Dash is a famous childhood game that many grew up playing, but did you know that the developer RobTop has made other games as well? This is Forlorn, an adventure-based platformer game that was made back in 2012. It was unfortunately scrapped by RobTop before it was ever finished. However, in late 2023, a leak of an old IPA was found and people were finally able to play RobTop's lost game. In fact, RobTop used Forlorn's player controls for platformer mode in Geometry Dash until it was inevitably changed before 2.2's release. Another game you're probably familiar with is Boomlings. Much like the famous game Candy Crush, Boomlings involves matching colors in order to score points. Some textures are also reused in Geometry Dash, like the crown, stars, and even the classic Pooh subfont. Memory Mastermind is a game I mentioned in a previous short of mine that, for no reason, was in Geometry Dash's game files at some point. This game involves dots that fall in a pattern, and the player has to try their best to recreate it. Unfortunately, the game cannot be found anywhere in Google Play or the App Store, but at least it looks fun. Geometry Dash is a famous child.